Hey, you guys, welcome again to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us. Welcome. So glad that you guys are here. And tonight's live broadcast, we're going to talk about this this MAGA propaganda that's been filling my timeline. You know, ever since, Trump and the gang decided to drop bombs over there in Venezuela. And man, I'm telling you, the amount of propaganda I have been seeing from people that I didn't think would be doing this, but anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get things started here. And while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and put some music on. Give me a moment here. Let me get my stuff together here. And let's go ahead and get things started. Hold on for just a second. Get my stuff together here. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Hold on. It's right here. Almost had it. And is this the version? I got another song I'm trying to share with you. Hold on, I'm trying to get it. Is this it? Yeah. This is it. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Take your time with this. Samba tree salsa.
You wanna sip it
Again and again.
All right, man, we dropping our organic soursop tea. We coming out big with this one, y'all.
From the leaf to the bottle, yeah, we slow it down. No rush in the process, we let love come around. Yeah. Sun on the flavor, I'm in the blend. Once you taste something real, you don't play pretend. Ain't no shortcuts, ain't no disguise. You can see it in the color, taste it when you try. Grown folks sip, yeah, it hit just right. Daytime cooler or warm late night. If you know, then you know what I mean. When it's brewed real slow, keep it clean. Let me tell you what it is, my friend. Brewed, not powdered. Fresh, not pretend. Summer tree, sour sop. You wanna sip it again and again.
Hey!
Tree, sour sop, you wanna sip it again and again. Pop again. Pop that cap, hear the sound, let it breathe. Pour it slow, let it cool, yeah, you know what you need. No fake flavors, hiding in the mix, just smooth real tea. When it touch your lips, everybody asking what's that you got. I say once you go brewed, you don't go back to not. It ain't a trend, now this the way you like. Simple ingredients, yeah, we keep it right.
Hey!
When it feel that good, you don't gotta explain. Real recognize real every time you pour a glass again. Brew, not powder, fresh, not pretend. Summer tree, sour sop, you wanna sip it again and again. Yeah, brewed, not powder, fresh, not pretend. Summer tree, sour sop, you wanna sip it again and again.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have just dropped our organic soursop tea, y'all. I'm going to show you something there in a moment. I was just in the grocery store because I want y'all to see the difference here. All right, we're breaking. It's 2026. We're breaking all the nonsense this year. All the nonsense. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up your palate to some real stuff. And that's what we're about here. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Hey!
Fresh, not pretend, not the trees, sour sop, you wanna sip it, brewed, not powdered, fresh, not
Hey!
pretend, summer trees, sour sop, you wanna sip it
Again and again.
You wanna sip it again. Yes, yes, I will. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, welcome. We can't just jump right into the news, y'all. The stuff be heavy enough as it is, the stuff we talk about sometime. And we got to be different, man. We got to do something different. We got to bring some light into the space. You know what I'm saying? And so what a better way to do it, man. And so there you go. So we were just in the studio. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing now. Maybe I was. Anyway, but yeah, so yes, just really, really quick, just tell you about this awesome tea. Is it on my phone? Okay. Let me just show you this, y'all. We're gonna get in there. All right. And make sure you check out our over there on our Cybertree YouTube page. Because my dear, beautiful wife, Nicole, she's been posting a lot of stuff over there, y'all. So I hope you've been checking it out. Okay, so let me move this over here to my computer here real quick here. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Today is, we're in what? Monday. Today is Monday. Monday, December. Wow, I'm still in December. January the 5th. January the 5th. We're just, we yeah. Anyway, all right, let me show you something here. Hey, everything trying to get in order here. All right, let me show you this. It's right here, really quick. In the world? Hold on. Oh, no. That'll be desktop. No. That would be download. Is this it? Finally. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Now, I just went into the grocery store, what was it, last night before, one of the two, and I think this is Pure Leaf. I want you to pay very close attention to the ingredients here. I mean, just look at that, right? So it's got black tea, got a little asterisk there, whatever that means. Sugar, citric acid, natural flavor, citrus, pectin, and then it goes on, right? It's got that, right? So that's that. Okay, so that's one. Let me pull up this other one here because I took a whole bunch of them. I'm actually going to be making some shorts off of this soon, too. Here's another one here. This is another drink I came across. It builds itself as a very natural tea, right? Tea, water, RYL sweetener, and then they name it there, right? Okay, monk fruit. Then it says, it got these natural things in there, but then it says natural flavor. All right, so that's another one. All right. And here's another one here. I think this is Pure Leaf again. Same thing. What has it got in it? Water, black tea leaves, cane sugar, phosphoric acid. Okay. Why are we adding that? In there? Okay. And then I got another one. I could add a whole bunch in here too. All right. Things I've taken a picture, and I'm going to actually be doing that, going to the grocery store and taking pictures of this stuff here, because this is what I'm saying, y'all. We don't have to settle for that. Over the years, we have just settled for stuff. When we go to when grandma, when she would make tea, iced tea, she would get those Lipton bags, put it in some water, right? And she'll boil the water. Sometimes she'll boil the water if she was boiling in the house or whatever, and then she'll make iced tea or whatever out of it, put in the pitcher. The pitcher it was a big glass pitcher and those big, beautiful flowers like sunflowers on the side of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Or she would do the same thing. She would get one of those, a big glass pitcher, glass pitcher, and she would sit it out on the porch, on the deck, and she would make sun tea out of it. But all it was she would put sugar in there. Yeah, she would do she'll do the sugar. Everybody had their cocaine pack of of sugar. The big white thing of sugar. Some of y'all better not be bringing that in your house. But you know what I'm talking about. The little cocaine pack. You know what I mean? And anyway, she'll put the sugar in there, But the tea itself was basically the tea and the water, right? So but now they're not even doing that. They're just saying, screw that. We're going to not only we're going to put the tea in there, we're going to put something called natural flavors, whatever the heck that is. If it's natural, why do you got to add natural flavor to it? Right. And then they add all this other nonsense in there that we can't even have pronounced. In this tea, in this tea that we are doing, that we have this soursop tea that we have, something that we had brewed years ago, and we decided to go ahead and bring it back. This tea here, y'all, it's just the soursop tea, the soursop leaves, water, right? Reverse osmosis water. And I believe we use it's honey in it. Let me see what else. Let me get the ingredients in here. It's right here. I should have it, because you can get it either sweetened or unsweetened. Here we go. Here it is right here. Reverse osmosis water, organic soursop leaves, and lime. That's the unsweetened. And then the sweetened, reverse osmosis water, organic soursop leaves, and a touch of honey and lime. That's it. We're not putting natural flavors in there. I told y'all on this platform, we are about creating solutions. We're not here to sit up here and to complain about what they doing and, oh, it's a conspiracy. We already know it's a conspiracy. And people are still walking right into the conspiracy like it's nothing. And you sitting up there, yeah, it's a conspiracy, y'all. They trying to poison us, and your blood pressure going all up and everything like that. And we said, no, bump that. Black tea is good, it's tasty and all of that, right? But we all know all the health benefits of soursop, okay? The fruit, the seeds, the leaves, the whole thing is full of a lot of benefits, right? So we said, no, we're not going to just do a tea. We want to do a soursop tea. We've actually looked all in the marketplace and everything. Man, we can't find anybody making soursop tea. But we said we're going to do it. And we said our goal is we want to be the face of it. That's right. We want to be the face of it. So, yes, so you can order either a small pack or you can get a large pack. Just go there to sambatree.com, check it out. And they're going to start shipping later on this month. But get on board because, see, listen, by the, based on how this turns out, because if it's anything like it was before, this thing blew. We literally considered creating a separate business just selling this. That's how much it was doing. The only reason why we stopped is that we just couldn't keep up after a while. But now we're in a much better place where we're able to do that. But based off of this, who knows what other things we may add to it, like I was thinking like different flavors or stuff like that we may add to it later on. But they're going to be real stuff, okay, like real fruit stuff. That's later on, we might do that. But for now, you need to check this out. Again, it's over at sambatree.com. Okay, so thank you so much for that. I just wanted to get that all out. Let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be talking about. Like I said earlier in this broadcast, man, let me tell you something. I have been sitting back looking at these people talking about this war thing, what was going on over in Venezuela, and I have been online and watching people just, you got people that are like, man, nah, this is whack. We shouldn't be doing that at all. We're going over there to another country and just saying, okay, leader, you out of here. I mean, where's the UN? I mean, there's nobody just doing nothing. It's just the United States can just do all this stuff. And we already talked about in the last video, we talked about how the lie that's told to us that the reason why they're doing this is to cut down drugs in American streets. But the reality is, no, that's not the case at all. I wish I could show you guys. There was a chart that Joe Rogan actually had on his podcast, and it showed, it was saying that, because this is a big talking point amongst MAGA folks. And they said, ever since Trump came into office, you could see overdoses went down. See, he's really making a difference here with this, cracking down on drugs and stuff like that. But it was like, no. Someone actually looked at the chart and it was like, no, bruh, Joe Rogan, how did you miss this? When you look at the chart itself, overdoses were actually going down before Trump got into office. And that is credited to the fact that there was an increase of funding going to programs to get people off of drugs, right? They're doing it in a way. Some of these programs are a lot more effective than the ones in the past. And that is a big reason for it. It's not because Trump went down and he's shutting things down, because as I showed you, in all of these years, the United States has been invested in regime change down in South America and pretty much all over the place, but particularly South America. And they always say, well, we're doing this to cut down drugs. The drugs always make it into here in the United States. They still come, especially in the black communities. So it ain't really doing much, right? So in fact, let me pull up for you just what Trump said himself. Let me get a moment here. This is Trump out of his own mouth. What he was saying just not too long ago. This is him. And let me pull this up here. I got it. I have it up right now. I want you to take a listen to it. This was very like last year, I think it was. Hold on. I have to close some of this stuff out before I switch my thing. Okay, here we go. All right, let's take a listen here and let's go.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
We will break the cycle of regime change.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building and regime change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos.
You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good. Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
We're getting out of the nation-building business. We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place.
Oh, what happened to all of that? What happened to all of that? And I was just listening to some of these, MAGA folks and how they were out here saying, well, it's not really regime change. It's enforcing the law. They try to come up with some new nuance to it or whatever. It's like, no, he's literally saying that we're going to continue to run things until we get a leader in there that we approve of. That's nation building. Okay. So anyway, let me go to this one. Now, this is Tulsi Gabbard. I want you to listen to her. She was also someone that was out here in these streets saying how she was against it, this whole policy.
The old Washington way of thinking is something we hope is in the rearview mirror and something that has held us back for too long. For decades, our foreign policy has been trapped in a counterproductive and endless cycle of regime change or nation building. It was a one-size-fits-all approach of toppling regimes, trying to impose our system of governance on others, intervene in conflicts that were barely understood, and walk away with more enemies than allies. The results? Trillions spent, countless lives lost, and in many cases, a creation of greater security threats. The rise of Islamist terrorist groups like ISIS.
Anyway, so she was out here telling everybody that those days are over. We ain't going to be doing all of that. And here we are today. And the thing that really gets me is you got people out here. I mean, there was people on the right. I'm going to show you some screenshots in a moment here who were saying the same thing. They were saying the same thing, literally saying the same thing, that we are glad that we are moving away from that. We're not going to do the regime change. It's America first. Make America great again. Make America great again. It's all about America. We don't care about all these other nations or anything like that. We're going to secure our borders. We're going to tighten our borders and all of that. You remember all of that? Well, isn't it something how times have changed? Let me see. This was, who am I looking for here? Let me see. If I can find it. Well, as I'm looking for this, well, guess what's happening? They are actually going to. Oh no! Let me see. I was trying to think of her last name. I think I got it now. Let's see. All right. Of course, I can't find it now. But anyway, I'll just tell you this. Well, guess what? Those Venezuelan people, individuals that are here in the United States, and those that are in Venezuela. Well, guess what they're doing? Guess what the United States, after they done bombed it, guess what they're saying? Now they're saying, hey, well, we will, they will be able to be qualified for refugee status, which means what? It means that the border is back open, baby. I mean, I'm sitting up here like, y'all, are you kidding me? I mean, literally so much for the whole open borders thing. Let me see. I'm still looking for this thing here. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, I think it's Christy. Let me see if I can find her name. Christy. Let me see. Give me a moment here. I almost got it here. Okay, let me. I'm just gonna try it one more time. If I can't find it, that's all right. I'm looking. Can't find it. It's okay. It'll probably come up on my, because I have it bookmarked, but it's just a piece of crap. This the X thing here. But yes, they are going to make allowances for people of Venezuela to come to the United States if they want to declare like refugee status or whatever. Yes, this is coming from the Trump administration themselves. You can look it up. I can't find it right now. But here we are. We're talking about, they went from, we got to secure our borders. Those brown people, they got to stay over there. This is our country. This is America and all of that. He goes and bombs and saying, okay, well, we'll open a border for you. I mean, it's like, wow. So much for that. And I see these Negroes on social media. They're up there waving their American flag saying, yeah, it serves them right. We're America and all. I'm like, okay. All right. So let me switch to the propaganda that I've been seeing on here. I mean, it's been a ton of it. Where's my phone fell. That's what it was. Y'all, I know it literally looks like I have things out of order. I am a lot more organized than this. But anyway, let me see, because I'm going to bring all of these over here, because I want you to see just how much propaganda is going on here. Let me see. All right, here we go. Bringing it over right now. All right, here we go. Yeah, you're going to have to see this. Here it is. Sliding it over here. I don't know why he's going to that page. Anyway, here we go. All right, so let's go with this one here. Let's start with this. All right, so here's one right here. All right. And these are channels. These are like profiles of channels that are pretty big. They were posting stuff like here. They were saying, don't repost this. Democrats are going to get mad. They hate that the people of Venezuela are celebrating Trump's removing an illegitimate narco-terrorist president. And then they already got community noted. They said this video shows Venezuelans celebrating the 1-0 win over Paraguay in the FIFA World Cup qualifier on September the 12th, 2023. Ain't that something? Well, it ain't just, I'm just getting warmed up, y'all. I just turned on, I just sat in the car. Is this the same one? I think this is the same one. Oh, yeah. This is the same one. All right, here's another one here. Here's another one there. Venezuelans celebrating the capture of Maduro, and it got community noted as well. This was related to something completely different that it was nowhere. It was like a year ago or something like that. That was another one. And then I'm just getting through the ones I took screenshots of. And then I'm going to show you, someone actually put them all on X. And we're going to visit their profile in a moment here. Here's another one here. Wait a minute. The mainstream media lied to us again. The people of Venezuela actually didn't like being ruled by a narco terrorist. And they said this video depicts a Venezuelan exile celebrating the U.S. capture of Maduro in Doral, Miami, Florida, rather than celebrations within Venezuela. So I'm not saying that these people, you didn't have Venezuelan people weren't celebrating, but they were trying to make it seem as if everybody in Venezuela were just had their hands up and just shouting and all of that. And it's like, no, not exactly. In fact, there's many videos out here, if you take a look at them, that it's, you got a lot of people in Venezuela that aren't happy with this at all, and understandably so. Here's another one here. This is actually a video, and hopefully I'll be able to play it for you. Here's another one. This is from Wall Street Apes. Venezuelans are crying on their knees, thanking Trump and America for freeing them from Nicolas Maduro. And it said, I even added English subtitles so you can understand them. Y'all, this video was 100% AI. Like I said, again, I hopefully I got a bookmark. You can see it. The guy that the page I'm going to go to, you'll be able to see it yourself. It's AI. It's literally an AI video. Let me see. I got one other one here. Now, this is in Nigeria. Now, this was in Nigeria. This is another guy. He be posting whatever here. There's another coon. I'll just say it. Okay. People who have like this limited access to the White House, and, they think they whatever. But anyway, a massive group. This is Nigeria. It says a massive group of Nigerian Christians were spotted celebrating and praising God just 6 days after Donald Trump bombed the ISIS terrorists that have been targeting them. When we already told you who ISIS was, it's Israel. So yeah, Israel. So anyway, but not only that, check out the date. Check out the date. Did you see the date? Did you see the date on the video? It's December 19th. And December 19th, that actually was like 6 days before he actually bombed Nigeria. It's literally on the video. It says December 19th. I mean, is it that people don't read or something? But they're spreading this stuff, and people by the thousands, y'all. I'm sitting up here and I'm watching these people literally by the thousands are sharing this stuff literally over and over and over again. And now I'm going to take you to this page here where this guy, he actually bookmarked a whole bunch of them here as I'm getting through it. Let me find it here. Let's see. Here we go. Is it this one here? Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's another profile here. He really was bookmarking a lot of this stuff here, Adam. So you had Alex Jones video. Millions of Venezuelans flooded the streets of Caracas and other major cities in celebration of the ouster of communist dictator Nicolas Maduro. Now we need to see the same type of energy here on the home front. And it goes on. And he takes a screenshot of a clip from something. It had nothing to do with that event, literally nothing. And he actually got, Alex Jones actually got community noted for this too, because it was false. Here's another one here. Nick Shirley. This Nick Shirley, by the way, is the guy that supposedly exposed what was going on up in Minnesota with the Somalians and the whole fraud thing. So he's posting this and say, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I already showed you that one. All right, so let's move on to the next one here. Here's another one. Benny Johnson, he was another one. Massive crowds have taken to the streets of Venezuela to celebrate the president. They checked this video out. It ain't it. It wasn't from that. Here's another one here. These are screenshots here. That's what I try to do. Venezuelans are crying on their knees. I showed you that one already. Here's another one here. Today we're going to hear the same cast of paid leftist clowns trying to spin the arrest of Maduro like they're going like it is going to start World War III. Ignore them. Again, they checked that one out. That wasn't real at all. Here's another one that was community noted. Same thing. So it wasn't just, these weren't just like small channels. These were like large channels that was posting this stuff. Here's one here. They're saying that they were celebrating in the streets of Venezuela, but they said, someone checked it out. They said, this ain't even Venezuela. It's in Chile. It has nothing to do with Venezuela. It's for something else. Now, this is a funny one here. The moment of freedom has arrived. Imagine being on the left and opposing this. Well, this is why we try to encourage our people here on this platform. Just do a little bit of digging. And so Nick Shirley, he also posted it as well. Oh, they're celebrating. But wait a minute. 7/27/2024. That's where the image came from. Wait a minute. Oh gosh. He actually used it as his Facebook profile image back last year. Well, now almost 2 years ago now. I'm trying to see if it was an AI. It actually looked pretty real. But I'm sitting back, y'all, and I was looking at all of this stuff here that these people were posting. And thankfully, people are really starting to call these people out because, like this guy here, Matt Walsh, here's another example. Now, he just tweeted this back in June of last year. We spent the last 25 years bringing freedom and democracy to countries around the globe while our own country has been systematically invaded, and now our largest cities are run by foreigners and communists. If you want to know why I am so avowedly non-interventionist, this is why. Then after Trump dropped the bombs in Venezuela, this is a war for oil. And then, he's quoting somebody. He says, first of all, the war lasted like 90 minutes. Second, going to war to secure vital resources for your own people is totally legitimate. Why should we allow some third world communist blank hole to control trillions of dollars worth of oil? And I was telling my wife just earlier, I said, he's not the only one. He's very typical. There are many other examples I could show you, but like I said, Twitter is Twitter. But I could show you. I was looking at this like, wow, these people were literally saying the total opposite months ago. Now all of a sudden everything's okay now. You even got like people like Nick Fuentes and some other people as well that are out here. Alex Jones, I just showed you him, and other people that now are just like, oh no, that's it. I just showed you the clip of Trump saying himself, we're not trying to do any of this. We ain't trying to get into any of this stuff. But then all of a sudden now they're doing it. And now it's okay. And these are the same people, mind you, where Trump over and over again during his campaign, what was he saying over and over again? Oh, we're going to drain the swamp. We're going to release the Epstein files. The first thing I'm going to do when I get in office, my first act is that we're going to release the Epstein files. Remember, he kept saying that over and over and over and over and over again. Well, it was a push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. And then, I mean, he was fighting against it. Trump was fighting against it. He got in office, he was fighting against it. And there was that one reporter that said, hey, Trump, when you going to release the rest of the files? He was like, we still talking about this? I mean, he like totally flipped. And then I saw MAGA commentator after MAGA commentator after MAGA commentator bring it up over and over again saying, yeah, that's right. Well, why are we focusing on this? Why are we focused on him? He's dead. Why are we focused on this? I don't know. Well, wait a minute. Y'all literally were all up on this just when he was running for office. But now all of a sudden, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to expose these people. So Trump and his administration, they got all this gas to literally go down and to take over an entire country, but you can't release the Epstein list. That goes to show you that if they were to release everything that they had, think about that. If they were to release everything they had, it would far overshadow whoever's on that list. You see how easy it was for them? Oh yeah, we're going to go down. Netanyahu, 3 days before the United States decided to go down to, not just this, because I'm sure they decided way before that, but 3 days before the United States went down to Venezuela to do what they did, Netanyahu came and basically was encouraging Trump to do that action. That's what was going on. And then 3 days later, boom, that's where we find out about that. It took them 3 days to go from that to all of a sudden we got action, right? 3 days. The Epstein list, he's been in there over a year and they still ain't getting everything. It goes to show you that whoever, if they were to release everything they had, it would totally just, it would probably break everything down that we know as leadership, not just here in the United States, but probably all over the world, because it was leaders from all over the world that was going to that island and was doing all kinds of stuff. Then I knew then they weren't going to release that. Anybody else falling for that, you crazy. You think that the government, I don't care who it was, do you really think they're going to tell on themselves completely? You really believe that? You really believe that the government is going to expose its own corruption? You believe that? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that was, so this propaganda thing, they are still pushing this thing here. And speaking of propaganda, here's something else here, because there is a racial thing attached to this, of course. And if you're brand new to the channel, welcome. And everybody that's in the chat, welcome you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys here. But there's a propaganda theme that I am seeing starting to come up. And I do want to bring your attention to this, because we're going to start seeing more of this. We're going to start seeing a lot more of this here. And this came by, and this is someone, these people, I don't even follow these people, but they show up on my timeline. Now, this person, her name is Lauren Chen. All right. She's a Chinese woman, but she's, of course, she married to a white man, and, you marry who you marry. But it's important for me to say that, because once you listen to what she posted here, you'll see why I said what I did. Now, let me read to you what and how this is tied to the bigger point that we're talking about this evening. This is what she posted. When Europe went to Africa, to be clear, they were already miles behind most of the world. Some areas didn't have written language or the wheel. You can't blame that on Europe. Under colonialism, Europeans actually brought Africa a little further ahead than it had been. They built infrastructure, including schools. They implemented modern agricultural and husbandry practices. What pack are you smoking with that? What pack? I'm just curious. Who's your dealer? She literally is trying to paint this picture as if people in Africa didn't know anything about agricultural, how to grow things or husbandry practices. We didn't know people in Africa. We didn't know anything about that. Now, this girl, she got a large following, okay? And I won't deny that some practices of colonialism were inhumane. But you're also kidding yourself if you think pre-colonial Africa was some bastion of human rights. Girl, you from China? I mean, China went daddy. I mean, can you keep your focus on China first? Anyway, can you keep your focus there first? Anyway, the guy standing in front of the tank. Anyway, yeah. Case in point, many African nations now have rates of violence exponentially higher than they did under European rule. Now, I'm not trying to argue colonialism was good. As I've stated, people have the right to self-determination and self-governance. My issue, however, is the attempt to blame ongoing African poverty on Europe. Pragmatically, Europe's actual influence on Africa was to make Africans safer, better educated, and less impoverished than it had been before, and in some cases, than they even are now. I know it's unpopular to say this nowadays, but you just can't blame the white man for all your problems. Now, I had to say something to her, but I'll say it to you. Okay, let me just say this real quick, okay, for the China woman married to the white man, because first of all, what you're saying is all European propaganda, okay? And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because this is an overarching theme that I'm seeing a lot of these much larger political content creators. This is what they're putting out there here. You know, like with Venezuela, it's like we saved them. We saved Venezuela. We are saving the Christians in Nigeria. Now the overarching, like the talking point is every time the United States opts to drop bombs and to go to war with another country, it's about its salvation. Now we're to see it as salvation. We're bringing democracy and all of that. Now let's get to you, Miss Laura Chen. Okay, it's time for us to get to you. Number one, you're dealing with cultures. Africa was made up of multiple cultures, okay? And so a lot of these cultures are the oldest cultures on earth, okay? And being that may have been the case, when it came to their weapons, for example, most of their weapons were things like spears and arrows and, you know, other things that they had there. So that's how they operated. But these are cultures that have been in existence for tens of thousands of years, Miss Laura Chen. Tens of thousands of years. Tens of thousands of years, okay? Secondly, when you have people coming in and they have more advanced weapons, like in this case, the gun, well, there's no competition with that, okay? A gun ain't going to compete with, you're not going to be, if you got spears and all this and blades and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to compete with a gun. You just ain't. Well, let me just say this too. Let me say this too. Those guns that the Europeans brought over, the Europeans didn't invent guns. Well, we can give credit to Miss Chen's people, the Chinese people. They're the ones that came up with that technology. The Europeans took it and they added some little mix to it or whatever, and now you got your guns now. That's what can't happen. Well, let's continue. Well, the Europeans came over. They came over leading with the Bible, but they also had the gun and everything else with them. Now, you imagine you're living on this entire continent and you literally have everything you need. Fruit, vegetables, you got land, you got your animals, you got family, you got all of that. You ain't got no reason. It's warm out. We had no reason to go to Europe. Now you got the Moors that did that, but the Moors, they were driven by, it was that now you're getting into Islam and all of that. They were tied into that. Now Islam is part of what? It's part of the Abrahamic religions. All right. But that was not Africa in the sense of like the heart of Africa. That was something else. Okay. But nonetheless, you did have black folks that were involved in that, but they were influenced by Islam. They were driven by that. But your run-of-the-mill African, people of Africa, of the continent, man, they weren't talking about we got to go to Europe and we're going to take their land. And, they weren't thinking about that. So here you go. So they come down. They came down with their Bible and all of that, but they also came with the gun. But here's what they also did. So now you already have an advantage from a military standpoint with a gun over these people, right? You already got the advantage. But they didn't stop there. What else did they do? They started infiltrating different sides. They started playing sides against each other, right? We talked about that. I did a full kind of like, I don't know, it was like 3-page, 4-page PDF. I made it for free. And we talked about the history of South Africa and what went down in South Africa and why South Africa is the way it is. And these people came down, they came into Africa and they started playing sides against one another. That's what they were doing down in South Africa. They will say, okay, you want to defeat that tribe? Okay, we got some guns for you. You take these guns and then you can show you. And the whole time, these Europeans are sitting back, puppet masters, saying that, listen, we can control this because they're going to do the work for us because they know the terrain better than us. So unfortunately, the people of Africa, they took that. Well, let's hit the fast forward, but that has been the story of Africa since. Europeans to this very day are still doing that, are putting one side against another. And every time throughout the history of Africa, and these different countries, right? Congo, you can go down the list. You have case after case after case. Anytime people in these African countries tried to rise up and they saw the BS that was happening, they said, let's rally around this leader, or let's rally around this person here, and we want to break free completely of colonialism. What happens? The Europeans take them out. They shoot them. They kill them. I mean, are you following me, Lauren Chen, on this? You follow me on this? Anyway, so that was going on. So you had that going on. Now, on top of that, what else was going on? You fast forward again. Europe, countries all throughout Europe and in the United States later on when that came about. Oh, we want to start coming out with different medicines. We want to start doing different things. So let's go to Africa. We need some test subjects. So let's go to Africa and let's do some testing on them because, black people have a higher tolerance of pain. So let's go ahead and go to Africa and let's get half the population sick. Let's just do that. They don't care. So you start doing that. Then you got Bill Gates going around wanting to put stuff all in their food. They're doing all that stuff. I mean, listen, I can go through example after example after example after example. Listen, Laura Chen, honey, baby, I got time all day and night if you want to talk about that. Africa wasn't behind time. It never was. Africa was the time. It was the sundial. It was the clock that the world looked to figure out what to do next. Let's tell the whole story. Let's tell the whole story. And just because you European, y'all, I'm trying to keep it straight, y'all. There's stuff I can't say right now. I ain't on the street. Okay, so I'm trying to, I'm doing good. Just, keep me lifted up, y'all, because I'll go off real quick. But my point is that the audacity of someone to sit up here and to say that kind of nonsense, and try to picture Africa as it's always been like that. They've been behind the time. Africa was doing fine. They were doing fine. Did they have, they were fighting each other and all that. Well, Romans, Greeks, the barbarians. I mean, do we have all day to talk about how Europeans were going after each other all the time? But somehow when Africans do it, now all of a sudden we barbarians. We just can't, we just can control ourselves. And so unfortunately, what you see today happening in Africa is a result of what happens when other cultures come in and they have this colonial mindset that, hey, we can come in and make it better. Some cultures need to be left alone. What about that what about that island that they found somewhere? It was in the Pacific somewhere. They said these people they don't know nothing about technology. And it was one guy went over there. He went over there with the Bible. He talking about he coming there to bring the gospel. And next thing you know, I'm going to tell you about Jesus. For God so loved, they took, he was gone. They weren't trying. And then someone else went over there. Well, I'm going to go over there because Jesus told me to go over there or whatever. And now they infiltrating these people. They live on an island somewhere. Remote. They ain't got nothing to do with it. See, a lot of times, with your mind, just because we got computers, we got cell phones and all of that. Listen, that's in this society, okay? But the people that live in societies that don't have all that, they're happy. Leave them alone. Well, they walking around, they ain't got no shoes on. You eating food? Yes. And what? If they're happy, leave them alone. But see, this is why we talk about this whole matrix system, is that what it does, it attempts to bring everybody into this space where they are measured by the standards of the system itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I see other cultures and they living in whatever it is that they're living in, be it a hut or whatever, some of these people, they've been living like that for years and years and years, and they fine. They good. They good. But it's the westernized mind, and I'm talking about even these Negroes out here, and I know I got some FBA people out here because I call your behinds out all the time on this. When you look at people from the continent or whatever, oh, y'all living in mud huts and you still doing all that. If they're fine and they cool with that, so what? So what? Are they happy? And you'll find that many of them are happy and cool. That's how they like to live, and that's it. Don't try to bring your standard into you looking down on them. You see how the West mind, how it does. You look at other people and it's like, it's funny because you can see there are documentaries you can go on YouTube and you got white people and they will just be living a very basic life and they living in a little cottage. There's no electricity, right? There's no electricity. They hunt for their food. They drink fresh water and they live by candlelight. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I would love a life like that. It's just so calm and peaceful. And, just to be disconnected. But you show Africans living the same way. I ain't trying to live like that. You see how far behind they are? Oh, my God. You see what I'm saying? That's how they get you. That's how they get you. But what I'm saying is, the reason why I took time to kind of go through this is because Lauren Chen, she ain't the only one. The more and more the United States keeps doing this play over and over again, going to these other countries and doing all this stuff, this is the mindset that I'm seeing here. It's like, yeah, we can go over there and take whatever we want because we're America. Yeah, we can tell Canada we're going to make you a part of the United States because we're America. Yeah, we can go to ICE or Greenland and tell them we're going to extend you to the United States. You should want to be a part of the United States because we're America. That kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, you're going to see 2026. Like I said, y'all, just like with the whole Zionist movement that's going to go, they're going to go in overdrive in 2026 with this whole war first, America psych first stuff. They're going to continue to do with it. They're going to go extra hard with it. And if you're not in agreement with their BS, then they're going to say you're un-American and you're leftist and all this other stuff. No, I just believe in leaving people alone and let them be, you know, and that's it, you know. So I just was like, wow. Let me see some of your comments here. I'm just gonna go here. Let's see. Someone said Sentinel Island people unalive the white guy. Yeah, that's what I was. Right, that's what I was saying. Them people are fine, and they kept putting on YouTube talking about, yeah, we the last people that we haven't reached. Oh yeah, someone said Christy No. Thank you. Let me see if I can find that video. I told y'all, man, y'all talk back to me and that'll help me. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Shoot. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let's see. There you go. Let's see if I can find that video. Hold on. Let's see, Venezuela. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is. Thank you. Whoever said that, thank you. I found it. I found it. Thank you. This is the video I was looking for, where she is saying now Venezuelans can now apply for.
Well, Venezuela today is more free.
Sorry. Now they can apply for refugee status in the United States. Here it is right here. We're going to secure the borders, right? We're going to secure the borders.
Well, Venezuela today is more free than it was yesterday, and it's going to continue to be that way as long as President Trump is in the White House and is making sure that he's protecting the interests of the American people, because that ripple effect will continue to bring that kind of liberty to Venezuela as well. These programs, we're bringing integrity back to them. The decisions are made in conjunction with the State Department, with the White House, and then we at the Homeland Security implement them and make sure that they are followed through. So every individual that was under TPS has the opportunity to apply for refugee status, and that evaluation will go forward. But we need to make sure that our programs actually mean something and that we're following the law. And that's how that decision with TPS was made.
So, yeah, so we got to get rid of Somalians. We got to get rid of them. How dare these Somalians? They, you know what they're doing and taking up our resources, but we're going to welcome in Venezuela. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Yeah, that was the video I was definitely looking for there. Appreciate that. Let me bookmark in that. There's one other thing I want to show you too. This is let's see. This was something that Trump posted on his, I guess that's Truth or whatever that platform is called. He posted this recently, and I thought this was very interesting here, which shows all the different immigrant groups and the percent of immigrant households receiving assistance. Now, when they say assistance, it's, I would like to see a further breakdown of this, because you got, is this all the collective, is this the collective assistance, food and shelter and education, or is it just food, or is it what? I don't know. You know what I mean? But this is what he posted. Okay. So country of birth, and then it goes down, right? Yemen, Somalia, 71.9% of the percentage of Somalian households receive assistance, government assistance. The Marshall Islands, 71.4%. Dominican Republic, 68.1%. Afghanistan, 68.1%. Congo, 66%. Iraq, 60%. Zaire, 56.9%. Mexico, 54%. Haiti, 52%. Cuba, 49.6%. Ghana, 37.9%. I ain't gonna read all of these, right? Colombia 36.5%, Bahamas 34%, Nigeria 33%, Panama 32.7%, and it goes on here on this side. I'm just highlighting some. Liberia 48.9%, Syria 48%. Let's see, Fiji 40.8%, Pakistan 40.2%, Iceland, dang, bruh, how you gonna get Iceland? They on it. Iceland, they get 29. They getting a cut too. Iceland, they even getting a bag. Israel actually is on here too. I just saw it, but yeah, here you go. Israel's like 25.9%. Okay, now that's immigrants into this country, right? Now, and so I saw a lot of black folks that were saying, see. Now, it's a legitimate CCC, but let me just add this as well, because I looked it up, the percentage of black family households, it's like, if we're talking food, right? If we're just talking food, it was like 20-something%. It's probably a little higher than that. And then housing, it was something else. It was a much higher percentage or whatever. So that's why I said I would put an asterisk by what do they mean by assistance? Is it the collective or is it whatever? But I can tell you that black Americans, we ain't this high. I could tell you that. I could tell you that right now. So for them, and this is why I said this is a legitimate argument that many black folks are making. In this country, they always, the same group that we've been talking about tonight, the MAGA group, they always want to make who the face of government assistance, black folks. But here you go. Thanks to the policies of both, not just Democrats now, but Republicans are doing this now. Black folks ain't nowhere near the level of being the face of government assistance. Nowhere near that. So we shouldn't even be on there. Is Bhutan. They're at 81.4%. Then you got Yemen. And then Somalia. Those are your top three. Black Americans don't need to be anywhere near being the face of that. But you do a search for welfare in America. Guess who you're going to see come up all the time? What's crazy is you can look that up. Guess whose face they show up all the time on the pamphlets and stuff? It's black Americans. You'll see always either black Americans or Mexicans. Those are the two faces you'll see. And then you'll see some white people too. You'll see every now and then some white people on there too. But you ain't going to see these groups. So I thought that was interesting. But folks, listen, let me say this. Someone actually did a study, and I'm really going to dig into this because I was very interested in this. I hate when people say things like this and they don't source it. But basically, they were saying, a quick scan of the internet, they were saying that a hefty percentage, almost in the majority of the stuff that come across your timeline, your average timeline, is made up of bots. They're not even real people. And you can really begin to see this even with this whole war situation going on right now, because I'm looking at some of these posts and I'm like, okay, they all sound alike, or they're using the same stuff. They're using the same pictures or the same video and all of that. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't sounding right. This ain't looking right. And so this is what you have that's coming down on your timelines now. And this is why, like I said, it's so important. It's so important. We have to be old school when it comes to our information. Okay. And, so anything that comes down your timeline, it's always good to question it. Okay. Dig in, do your own research and all of that stuff. And when I say do your own research, don't just simply rely on, like I said, even Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever. Don't just rely on it. It's very easy to do. It really is. But Don't just simply rely on that. Okay. Because, it's just, the information that they're providing you is the preferred information that they want you to know. Okay. Even a lot of the news articles that you see on your favorite news sites, a lot of that stuff is all written by AI. It's not really humans behind this stuff anymore. You understand? You remember a while back, I did a long video where we talked about literacy rates amongst Black Americans. And I was talking about how in this age of AI, it's going to be more compounded. In other words, it's going to go from bad to worse when it comes to literacy. Remember, I was saying that? We're seeing that now. And so my encouragement to you is get your hands on books. Get your hands on books, y'all. If you're a history person, if you are interested in geopolitics, if you're interested in science, if you're interested in gardening or whatever, go to Goodwill. The books are cheap enough. Just grab them. Just get them. You know what I'm saying? Just get your hands on some books. Get your hands on some real books and start building your own library. Start doing that. You may not read it on that day, but at least you got your hands on something. Okay? Because when you have your hands on that, there's something about reading. When you're reading real books, there's something about that. It helps the information to stay longer in your brain because there's a physical contact there, right? Now, what we're doing here, I don't have books. The books I have here, the real books are mine. I ain't giving those away, but we do have our digital library. All right. Just go to our community page or go to the post page here on YouTube, right here on our channel. And in the latest post, I think I have a step-by-step on how to sign up for it. It's easy. It's $9.99, y'all. One time. It's not a monthly. It's none of that at all. You get access to over 700 books. I'm adding more and more books every week. All right. So I would highly encourage you to do that, because what that does is it gets you connected to books that have been scanned. These are books. They're all in PDF format. I've collected over the years. And it's just something that you should have added to your own personal collection, because, again, you can't trust this information out here. You got to be able to go back and look at this stuff, right? And be able to verify it that way, because internet is good up to a point. Up to a point, it is helpful, but it's good up to a point. What I am looking to do is I have a Raspberry Pi for those in the tech world or whatever. I have some extra Raspberry Pis here. And for those who don't know, those are little small computers. You can build all kind of things with it. And I'm wanting to create a portable internet, meaning that, in other words, I need an interface where, let's say everything goes to pot. I can't get on the internet, but if I want to do a search on certain topics or things like that, it's going to pull from all the books and everything that I have stored away, the articles and things like that. And it's just going to be my own personal, or I would say intranet, I guess that would be right. And it will just pull from that. So if I'm like, oh snap, how do you make whatever? And it is going to pull from that repository that I created, right? So that's one of my projects I'll be working on this year, to create that. So while everybody's like, oh, my internet's down, I'm be like, okay, well, I got my own here. You know what I'm saying? I need to make some particular herbs and stuff, mixes for my family. Okay, how do I do that? It's going to pull from this whole collection of books that I digitized, and that's it. This is the kind of stuff we need to start learning to do, y'all. Okay. So anyway, that's it. And that's all I have for you guys. And put in the comments. I want to hear from you. I appreciate especially the feedback, like people was helping me like with the name, because I was trying to remember. It was like right there on the edge, and someone came in and gave me that. I really appreciate that. Let me take it, look at some of these other comments here real quick as we are going out. I suspect AI agents are being used. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Let's see. Someone said here, this is Chris in the house. He's the one that helped me. Those sentinels were the sharpest people on the earth. Yeah, they were. Don't try to act like, oh, they walking around butt naked and they dumb and stupid. Nah, they good. They good. They didn't need a cell phone. Okay. They didn't need that stuff. All right. So anyway, that's it, y'all. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next broadcast. Take care. I'll see you.